Alright, now we're on to the part 3 of the video. We have 4 left.
Last 4.
Last 4, and then some honorable mentions that I thought about. And I might throw in one more. But let's continue on.
So, next we got a couple of guys that were a team for a little while, although they kind of separated rather quickly. Now, they were part of a faction, and then they were also together on their own. It just never really amounted to too much. Of course, talking about Sexual Chocolate Mark Henry and his bobble-headed partner, D'Lo Brown.
Yes, the Nation of Domination. And that was a good stable. You had Farouk, who just finished his shitty gimmick. You had The Rock, Rocky Maivia, who would obviously, we don't know.
Excel.
We don't know what happened to him. Mark Henry and D'Lo Brown. Oh yes, and of course, Kama Mustafa, who would later be the Godfather. So, yeah, the two guys that really were a take team together were the youngest of the group.
Yeah.
And, Mark Henry and D'Lo Brown, who somehow didn't become take team champions. I mean, you got two guys that should have actually, I mean, you could also go with D'Lo Brown and Godfather. And these guys actually, WrestleMania 2000, coming out to the ring with Ice Cube singing their music.
Yeah.
Or rapping, whatever. So, that kind of makes me think, why not? You would have Farouk go on with Bradshaw to do the Acolytes, and they would be take team champions. You get The Rock, who would team with the Rock and Sock connection with Mick Foley.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'd take with The Undertaker at some point.
I don't think so.
So, yeah, Mark Henry and D'Lo Brown. It's a shame what happened with D'Lo Brown afterwards. Him leaving the WWF. I'm assuming on bad terms. But he did return for a match, at least.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, these guys were good wrestlers. D'Lo had a little bit more success than Mark Henry. I mean, having the Intercontinental Championship, having the European Championship. I think he might have had the Hardcore Championship. I'm not sure if he ever ended up as a tag team champion. I don't think so.
No, not to my knowledge.
And then Mark Henry, eventually, had made a little bit of a move to the whole Sexual Chocolate thing.
Yeah.
And then transitioned into, who he really was.
Was he the European champion as well, or?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
He may have been. I'll have to look that up. Also, he was the ECW champion.
Yes.
He was world champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know. He wasn't even the United States champion. Although I think he tried.
Yeah.
But yeah, these two guys should have really been the take team champions. And it is a damn shame because they were really good in the ring. And it's unfortunate because well, we may never know what else Mark Henry could do. You know?
Yeah.
Or for that fact, D'Lo Brown. I mean,
Yeah.
he eventually teamed with Mosh or Jazz before leaving, and he did appear once for a match, and then this was like him being a security guy in TNA with Al Snow
Yeah.
for a while. So, yeah, it's kind of a shame that things turned out the way they did.
Yep. So next we have. Oh yes, a couple of guys that ended up partnered together. Was a fairly good tag team, one of the bigger tag teams, and they kind of went for the tag titles, but they weren't really pushed to it, you could say. The Twin Towers, Akeem the African Dream and Big Boss Man.
The Twin Towers, when that name would kind of be used as something negative after.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But yeah, you know, these guys, I don't know where this one man game Akeem is from, but, oh, he's American, obviously. Wherever they got the whole deepest, darkest Africa gimmick, and
I think he's like originally from Chicago.
yeah. And then you got the Cobb County, Georgia, Big Boss Man, Ray Trailer, and we talked about him before in a video. This guy was fucking amazing. I mean, the guy wasn't that huge, but he was a big man that could move like a luchador. And, well, that's cutting it, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, this team was awesome. You got the Slickster himself managing them. It was awesome, you know. And yeah, it is very unfortunate that they kind of just fell off the radar. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they had a feud with the Heart Foundation.
Yeah, they were kind of here and there as far as tag teams they're against. I do believe they did have a rivalry with the Heart Foundation, but other than that,
Yeah,
kind of just under the radar, so to speak.
pretty much. It's unfortunate. And they were in that match where the Mega Powers broke up.
True.
So, yeah, I mean, Big Boss Man would go and do other things, be a singles wrestler,
Yeah.
have what I thought was a good feud, not a great feud, with Nails.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Late 90s, go on to win the hardcore title
Yep.
and the tag team titles with Ken Shamrock, and then die. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's nothing to laugh about, but, you know.
Well, kind of the segue.
Yeah,
You know, he was a hardcore champion, he was a tag team champion, then he died.
yeah. But, you know, he also had a stunt in, I believe, AWA, then going to WWF. No?
He was.
I thought you shook your head, so.
Oh no, I was just looking at my phone. He started off in the NWA.
Big Bubba Rogers.
Big Bubba Rogers.
Yeah.
He was there for a little while. He then went to WWE. He was a big boss man.
And he went to WCW.
Was a big boss man for a while. Went to WCW. Became the Guardian Angel.
For some reason.
Was the Guardian Angel for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then went back to WWE in like late 98, early 99, something like that. Became the heel boss man, and then, like we said, you know, a hardcore champion, a tag team champion. The thing with him and Al Snow was certainly interesting.
Yeah, Pepper.
Yeah. And, you know,
Him and Big Show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, they made him do some really gruesome things.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, he was a good wrestler. And
Oh, yeah.
you got the one man gang who didn't really wrestle that long afterwards, and I say unfortunate a lot, but it is true. I think he went to WCW.
I think so.
So, yeah, I mean, a tag team, unfortunately, weren't the tag team champions, but it is what it is. I mean,
Yep.
Boss Man eventually did become tag team champions for Shamrock, so there was really not that much loss there.
No.
So,
Next on the list is a couple of guys we talked about earlier. Were a pretty good tag team. A couple of young, good-looking blonde guys managed by the Genius. I believe they were either identical or fraternal twins. I can't remember their names. I think one was Bo and one was
Bo and Blake.
Bo and Blake. That's who the other
Yes.
was. The Beverly Brothers.
Yeah. And what a good tag team. I mean, back then you had some of the best tag teams in that generation. You got the Steiner brothers. You have the Beverly brothers. I don't think they're actual brothers though.
Probably not.
But, you know, Natural Disasters, Money Incorporated, the best Nasty Boys. But yeah, Beverly Brothers, unfortunately, out of all those tag teams, were not the tag team champions. And
Yeah.
there was a lot of potential there for them to do that. Why? I don't know.
You asked that question quite a bit about the previous teams you
Right.
mentioned.
Yeah. But you know, it's funny because these guys are one of the best tag teams of the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Not sure what happened to them or if they went to WCW.
I
Did
don't-
better there.
I don't ever remember them going to WCW.
Yeah. I guess I should have looked that up. But
Foul!
regardless, you know, a team that I wish could have had at least one title shot in their WWF career. But
Yeah, it is, but it didn't end up working out that way, and well,
yeah.
sometimes things don't go the way you expect them to go, I guess.
No.
So, the last and final tag team is... Oh yeah, of course. The team that I had made mention of was the High Energy, was a carbon copy of them as far as their looks go, their ring gear, and how bright and colorful it was, and all this other stuff. Of course, Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels, the Rockers.
Yes. And I think you knew that this was number one. I mean, it figures you got these guys who are very charismatic for their time. They're the young guys coming from AWA as the Midnight Rockers. You get these guys who basically Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty. Everybody always makes jokes about Marty Jannetty, but
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, and technically, the match with Heart Foundation was the first time they would have been the new tag team champions. Unfortunately, something happened in the match. Don't think the rope broke,
Yes.
you know, and just kind of went fucked up. So
Yeah, it was. It was a good match up until that point, and then it all just went downhill.
it didn't, and I don't think it really aired. After,
No,
after
it
that.
didn't. It never aired.
So, I mean, until we saw it years later on DVD. But what a shame
Yes.
that would have been. I mean, you got this young tag team who could actually are ahead of their time. They could have been tag team champions, but it's unfortunate because you don't know how far they could have went. And with the Hart Foundation, what a good match that could have been, but for some reason, it just wasn't a good night.
You know, anything can go wrong on any given night. We all know that. And certain things can go wrong, whether it be, an injury or you landed the wrong way or whatever. But to have to try and finish a match without a top rope, I mean, you gotta give these guys at least some credit. Fuck.
Oh, yeah.
The match kind of slowed down without the top rope because, most of them, they're really reliant on using the ropes for momentum and climb up the ropes and jump off and whatever. And the thing that I most remember about watching that was, okay, yeah, you did have the Rockers beat the Hart Foundation in that match. But one thing that stood out in my mind is, the referee has them both the tag titles. Bernie Jannetty's elated, he's jumping up and down, he's celebrating, he's like, we won the tag titles, yay! And look at Sonny, he's like, he didn't know what he said or what his verbal displeasure was like, but you could tell in his body language he did not like it at all.
No. Yeah, and it's a shame because, these guys, no less, deserve to be the tag team champions. I don't even think Marty Jannetty and Al Snow were tag team champions.
No.
So, it's a shame.
Yep.
So, that's basically underrated, or not underrated, but wrestlers in the WWF that should have been the WWF Tag Team Champions. Before we go, we'd like to, we'd like to talk about the wrestling tag teams that could be WWF or WWE Tag Team Champions, no less. Or, wrestlers even that should have been Tag Team Champions. Who knows? So let's go on with this list.
Start off with probably the most iconic trio to be in wrestling. They came out of the Texas territory. Michael Hayes, Terry Bam Bam Gordy, and Buddy Jack Roberts, of course, talking about the Fabulous Freebirds.
Yeah, and they did wrestle in WWF in the early 80s for a bit, but they never had that success. Terry Gordy would go on to, I believe, the Heavenly Bodies with Jim Cornette, unless that's a different tag team. I think it was the Heavenly Bodies. It was Terry Gordy and someone else. I have to look that up.
Yeah.
However, this team was just a really good, again, ahead of their time.
Yeah.
And the New Day, or as Kevin Von Erich would say, the New Gay guys were definitely influenced by the Freebirds.
Yeah.
They definitely had that style of any of the three can wrestle in a match.
Yep.
In a tag team match or whatever. It just was that good. And they were the first, I guess, rock and roll, if you will. And
Well, they were the first team to have rock and roll music as their entrance theme.
yes. So these guys were really cool. And Michael Hayes would come to WWF to become Doc Hendricks.
Yeah.
Fun fact, when I started watching it again, it was still Doc Hendricks, but then he left and came back and managed the Hardy Boys.
Yes.
And they called him Michael Hayes. And I'm like, well, wait a second, that's Doc Hendricks. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But of course, obviously, I would have known later on But yeah, definitely. Those guys should have held the tag team titles.
Yeah. One thing that I had found out that I didn't really know about was apparently Michael did not like the whole handsome Doc Hendricks gimmick.
No, he did not want to cut his hair and any of that. And
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, within reason. And I think
Yeah.
they paid him, so that's why he did it.
Probably.
I don't know, but it was an interesting gimmick. And like I said, that's how I knew Michael Hayes when I
Yes.
first started back up watching wrestling. Was Doc Hendricks. So then he being manager of the Hardy Boys, and then the Freebirds would come up later on, and the WWE Network and whatever. So
Yeah.
pretty cool stuff.
Next, we've got a tag team that pretty much ran roughshod over WCW. They were an amazing tag team. They had a feud with guys like the Nasty Boys and the Blue Bloods and just various other tag teams. Now, if they had have made it to WWE together, it would have been interesting to see what would have happened, but only one of them came to WWE, the other just kind of did his own thing, I guess. Talking about Harlem Heat, Booker T, and Stevie Ray.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of cool to see another tag team that not only is of African American descent and become tag team champions in WCW. These guys could have easily jumped ship to WWE.
Oh, yeah.
And it's. I mean, Booker T did, and that's fine.
See, Booker T ended up in WWE just after WCW went out of business. And Stevie Ray, well, I think he started up his own trucking business.
Yeah.
And so he probably focused a lot on that. And I think Booker and Stevie have their own wrestling school as well.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure while Booker was in WCW, WWE, Stevie was taking care of the businesses.
And I guess Booker T is a hothead because he's got a lot of beef with a lot of people, like Dave Batista. And I guess him and Stevie Ray had a falling out, and they didn't talk for years. I think it was 5 years.
Yeah.
Then they eventually started talking again, and Stevie inducted Booker T into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of too bad that, again, you got one man out, and it's all about the Booker T. And so, yeah, tag team that I wish would have reunited for one last time in WWF or WWE.
Yeah.
Whatever, and become tag team champions and that stable. But they were WCW champions, tag team champions, so it's all good.
Certainly. Next, we got a pair of guys that probably can be confused by the name because it's a pair of brothers, but it's not the brothers you might necessarily think of. Talking about the Briscoe brothers. Now, we're not talking about Jack and Jerry.
No,
We're talking about Jay and Mark and Ring of Honor.
reach for the sky, boy. Yeah, and when I first started watching Ring of Honor, and actually, I have watched a few reviews back before that of, Ring of Honor matches, and they mentioned the Briscoe brothers, and I thought, oh, Jack and Jerry are still wrestling. That's interesting. But
Yeah.
obviously, when I started watching, it was not true. In fact, I thought maybe they were related again somehow, but that's not true either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jay and Mark are one of the most unique tag teams in Ring of Honor. They've been around for 17 years in Ring of Honor, and I think that if they don't eventually go to WWE, who knows? I mean, through the years, you've had like Kevin Steen and Roderick Strong and Adam Cole and Red Dragon, and they all, went to NXT, WWE from Ring of Honor. And so it's great because it's a more opportunity and you get noticed more because WWE, whether you like it or not, will always be that big company. Whether it's kind of going downhill slowly, that's still one of the biggest companies ever. And I think that the Briscoe brothers should try to eventually go to WWE. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But yeah, one of the oddest tag teams ever because
Yeah.
there was a, I'm not sure who they were wrestling, but they were doing there was like a home on like in the lives of the Briscoe brothers, and they were in their ranch in Delaware, and
Sandy Fork, by God, Delaware.
yeah, and their dad, and it's just like they had chickens and pit bulls and all this other cool stuff. They're real, farm guys, but also rednecks, and you can see that. They look old, but they're not. They're around, my age at least.
Oh yeah, they're probably like mid-30s.
But, with the gray hair.
Yeah, the gray hair don't help much.
But, yeah, these guys are fucking badass. And, yeah, you know what? I'd like to see them at least make a Royal Rumble appearance eventually. But it's all a matter of time. Because,
And it all depends, too, on whether they are wanting to leave Ring of Honor and venture out into other promotions.
Yeah, I don't see that happening too soon.
Not likely.
But you could have said the same for Adam Cole.
No kidding.
I'm still waiting for Michael Hogan.
Yeah.
But he's in Japan, so.
Yeah, he's fairly well off right now in Japan.
Yeah. But yeah, Briscoe Brothers definitely should come to WWE, become either Raw. Actually, I think they would be better on Raw as the tag team champions. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, actually, no, I take that back. You get a lot of the independent guys that started in Ring of Honor on SmackDown. So, yeah, they'd be better on SmackDown. So, yeah, there it is. Briscoe Brothers.
Well, the next pair on this list is just mentioned them. Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, Red Dragon. Now, the interesting thing about this selection, if you will, is they're in NXT and they're the current NXT Tag Team Champions. Now, whenever they end up on the main roster, will determine whether or not they end up as Tag Team Champions. Now, I mean, it took a while for them to get to, well, WWE and along with Adam Cole, but, I mean, I agree with the pick. I just wondering what the timing will be like, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's Triple H is doing a great job with the NXT guys. I mean, he's
Hell yeah.
gotten it's a professional wrestling show.
Right.
You know, there's no bullshit. And then you get WWE Raw and SmackDown, which Vince runs, and it's gotten a lot better than I'd say 10, 15 years ago. You know, it's still not great, but I like it and I don't care who else says otherwise. The fact of the matter is that they go over to WWE and it's like they're automatically changed.
Yeah.
You know, Shinsuke Nakamura, who still is the same guy he was in New Japan, but now they refer him to the rock star known as Shinsuke Nakamura.
Well, Nick the rock star, the artist.
The artist, yeah. It makes. It's a minor thing, but it's like, really? And it took Kevin Steen, and I understand you don't want to use certain names, but it doesn't make sense after a while. I mean, you did a good job with most of them.
Yeah.
I don't know, things. It's weird to me, but I like to see how, if they go to the main roster, how Red Dragon are gonna do. Now, obviously, they're not called Red Dragon on NXT, but fuck it, I'm gonna do it. But yeah, former WGP Tag Team Champions, former Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, current NXT Tag Team Champions. It'll be interesting to see if they go to Raw or go to SmackDown. Either way, I hope they turn out like Dash and Dawson.
Oh, the revival, yeah.
Yes.
I don't really know if they're going to be. Well, they're kind of as physical as Dash and Dawson are. It just seems to be more of like their group style is like the rough, aggressive, physical style. Red Dragon is still basically the same styling as they were in Ring of Honor. So yes, they still got, you know, the stiff kicks, the submissions, the grappling and the ground-based wrestling, and a little bit of high flying here and there, but to say you want to have them be like the revival, I think they'd have to get just a little bit more physical. But that's neither here nor there. On we go now to a couple of guys that were in TNA. They were tag team champions for quite a while. They split up. They have quite a rivalry against each other in TNA. They put the lumps to each other, and right now one of them is on the main roster as the United States champion. The other one might end up there at some point. It'll be interesting. Of course, we're talking about...
And I hope you grab a cold beer because we're talking about beer!
Money!
Hell yeah. You know, this tag team, and it's kind of interesting when you think about it because James Storm left TNA for a bit. He actually did make 2 appearances on NXT.
Yeah.
And the moment that he came out the first time, the crowd went
the crowd went bonkers.
Oh, Christ. So, it's like, if he would have stuck around. Like, I mean, Bobby Roode eventually came, so it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, tag teams don't last forever, but just think about it for a minute. You have Eric Young, for example.
Yeah.
Came to NXT, didn't really have much of a gimmick, and then he left. Like 2 years later, Sanity comes in,
Yeah.
you know, and who is the leader? Eric Young. And it's like, so, because Bobby Roode came in, and yeah, Bobby Roode's on SmackDown.
Yep.
But, let's say James, because right now, I don't know what James Storm is doing.
Right.
He just left TNA, or Global Force.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. Is he retiring? I don't know. It would be pretty amazing to me to see James Storm coming in, reuniting with Bobby Roode
Yeah.
in a beer money reunion, or, well, since WWE likes to fuck things up a little bit, soda money, who knows?
Soda money. Yeah. I mean, I think James might go back to NXT and kind of do some stuff in NXT for a little bit, and then maybe end up on the main roster. Now, whether he would end up on the same brand as Bobby on SmackDown or whether he'd go to Raw, don't know. It's a wait and see kind of thing, honestly.
Oh yeah. So I mean, it would be awesome just to see that one last time, because
Yeah.
like I said, James Storm didn't last very long in NXT, which is a shame. But you know what? Let's just see what happens in the future, because he's not that old.
Oh no.
You know, Bobby Roode just turned 40,
Yeah.
so it's like they still got some years left in them. And I want to see if this can eventually happen. You know, who knows? Because, like I said, James Storm is not in the company right now.
Right.
If he jumps ship, that would be great. But who knows?
Next, we got a pair of guys that were rivals for quite a while. They had amazing matches against each other. They got great chemistry. You put them together, and they're sensational. They've been multiple time tag champs. And, well, right now, 2 different companies. And if they end up in WWE, it could be 3 different promotions. And right now, they are the current Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah. And that's great, man. Like, these guys, again, Ring of Honor, I don't know if they're Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. I think they're IWGP Champions, TNA Tag Team Champions.
Yes.
So, like, why did they go back to Ring of Honor? Why not just go to WWE, go to NXT, see what happens?
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense, because what's left? I mean, you can't just stay on, well, you can, basically, but why stay in one company, you know?
Yeah.
The NXT has to be on their list. WWE has to be on their list. You know, Motor City Machine Guns really need to have this moment where they can also become WWE, either SmackDown or Raw Tag Team Champions.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, let's make it happen. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Literally.
Literally, yeah. finally, we have a couple of guys that are an amazing tag team. They got great chemistry together. They kind of, well, they started off on TNA.
Yeah, of Generation Me.
They went to Ring of Honor. They're excelling in Ring of Honor. They
Also-
wrestled in Japan.
Yes.
They had, I believe, they had tag titles in Japan. They've had tag titles in Ring of Honor. They even made up their own championships, which is interesting. Nick and Matt Jackson, the Young Bucks.
Yes. Yeah, we got that right. You know, these guys, a lot of people don't like them. A lot of people don't like the Young Bucks. But here's the thing. These guys are money. These guys, I mean, okay, it's understandably they took NWO and D Generation X and mashed it together. Okay, I
Yeah.
get that. But they're still one of the best young tag teams out there.
Yeah.
And Bullet Club, sure, Bullet Club is a great stable in Japan, and why not? And they come over to Ring of Honor. It's great. So yeah, why not have Young Bucks come over? In fact, yeah, that's it. Come over to SmackDown, reunite with AJ Styles, have a super kick party. That would be fucking amazing. Or go to NXT, reunite with Adam Cole, baby. The possibilities are endless. They
Oh,
should
yeah.
be tag team champions in the WWE. I don't care what anybody says. I like the Young Bucks.
They're a very good tag team. I mean, you know, Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions. They have their own tag titles they made up with Super Kick Tag Champs or something like that. So, they are extremely over. Fans seem to love them. Their chemistry is amazing. Their run in TNA as Generation Me was very short,
Yeah.
and then it seemed like once they ventured off into other promotions, that's when they got the ball rolling, and presto changeo, they're on top of the world.
Yeah. And just imagine what kind of things they can do for WWE.
Oh yeah.
And they're probably not going to be as risky as they are in Ring of Honor and New Japan, but you gotta give it up for these guys. These guys can really go in the ring. You know what I mean? Like they've had a great match. They had a really good match at Wrestle Kingdom this year.
Oh yeah.
I mean, fuck that. These guys are the best tag team of this generation. Pardon the pun. You know, just great. So, yeah, I definitely think that Young Bucks need to make their way to the WWE to become WWE Tag Team Champions.
And that's that.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then, I mean, there's a lot we missed out. You know, obviously, unfortunately, my camera died. I was in the middle of my Hogan rant, but we talked it over, and you heard stuff too about Hogan really didn't want to do the job, and that's kind of, you know, it's funny how you hear one thing and then you hear another point of view.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know, it just kind of, for a long time, rubbed me the wrong way. But we still have a lot of great tag teams to, like, look at. You know, you've got War Machine potentially coming to NXT from Ring of Honor. You have Otis and
Oh, Heavy Machinery.
Heavy Machinery, who was fucking great. You got all these great tag teams, and you know they're eventually going to become the tag team champions, and who knows what's going to happen. You know, it's going to be awesome. I know there's probably a few that we missed, but in a few weeks I'd like to start. Well, I don't know if it'll. Well, it'll be in a few weeks, anyways. The talk of who should be in the Hall of Fame in the WWE. Maybe not this year, but in the future.
Yeah.
But next Saturday will be the NXT show at the Peterborough Memorial. It's gonna be awesome. Everybody that, well, it's NXT. What can I say? Anyways, this has been a good video, 3-part video, so it's not gonna be as long as usual. Which is great because I don't know how it keeps going over an hour. Anyways, so for Killer Kyle, I mean Matt, and we will see you next time.
Make a quick mention here.
Yeah.
Matt rocking the Rosemary t-shirt. Me and my WWE Day t-shirt from 2003. A number of years ago.
And you know, it's funny, somebody that needs to go to WWE is Rosemary herself. You know, she's done a lot of really cool things, and Smash, of course, I saw her, and Oshawa 2 years ago. You have her doing a lot of cool stuff, and Global Force now, and I mean, obviously, Knockouts champion. And she had a really good feud with Taya. Unfortunately, something happened,
Yeah.
and Taya had to leave for a while. But once again, Spinelli and Rosemary are doing things again, and it's great. So, yeah. Anyways, it's, you know, a lot of fun to see what's gonna happen in the future. But until next time, we will talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.